So you see, they said, you see the TV by Philo. They said the first television signal was transmitted on September 7th. So let's go into that. So, you know, obviously Tupac, remember they say he dies off on the 7th of September and died on, it was shot on the 7th of September and died on the 13th of September. Remember they say that. So you go into Wisdom of Solomon 14:15. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning, when he have made an image of his child soon taken away, now honor him as a God, which was then a dead man, and deliver it to those that were under him sacrifices and ceremonies. So, you know, Cedra Borgia, the false white Jesus, remember they got that September 13th connection. So it all goes to that. They already know about the revelating of the real Christ. So, you know, that's why they have to do that with the Cedra Borgia. You know, they already know that. And that's why his child name is Louise, as you can see. You know, so everything in Lucretia as well. You know, all connected stuff. So anyway, Philip created the TV signal transmission. Remember when Christ, remember Philip was one of the first ones to see Christ, you know, out of the 12 disciples. That's why you had Uncle Phil dealing with William and Carlton. Remember, he was Carlton's dad, and you had him with Uncle Phil with William, because Will Smith, you know, in Exodus 3:14, I am that I am. So hit the will of God, the will of God, the William, the will of God, the will of I am. Connected to Philip. That's why on Get Out, remember he had the TV send you into the sunken place. Remember they want to get control of that TV, that soul, that mind, you know. And then remember the same guy, Daniel Collier? Remember he was on Get Out, then all of a sudden remember he was on the Black Panther with Killmonger, because Killmonger was just the Messiah of blasphemy, overcoming Obama, the Antichrist, T'Challa. The Black Panther, remember as it's written, the Antichrist will be as a mixed leopard. So, you know, that's why Obama got to have the Jewish connection, and you got to have the Kenya connection, because Kenya is where Mount Zion is, the highest mountain, Mount Zion, the Mount Kenya with the Lewis Glacier on top. And then his mother had to be the Jewish for the Ashkenazi Jewish, the false Hebrews, in Revelation 2:9, those who call themselves Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. So you see, that's why Daniel, after he go through that Get Out movie, he got to be next to the Messiah. Remember, he was the only one who had faith in Killmonger. He like, remember the lady said, you're a liar. You know, he shouldn't be a king. Remember, but the world is changing generally. You remember? By every second. And we'll only be left behind. You know, you want to be listening to Killmonger, you know, bringing a new world. It's all blasphemy. You know, excuse the whitewashing, but, you know, that's why, you know, as it's written, the Messiah we must raise the Messiah up. So that's why he was doing that on the movie, you know, raising up Killmonger blasphemy, saying we need to listen to this guy. Because, you know, they raised the Messiah up in blasphemy. You know, they was mocking him. You're the king of the Jews, then come down, but we're supposed to raise him up in this life and exalt who he is on the earth. That's why on the movie Dem, on the show Dem on Amazon, the season 2, you see all the TVs, you know. And it's called The Scare, because the fear of God is the beginning of our wisdom. Remember Mason on Call of Duty with all the TVs, trying to crack the code, you know. Hint Fat Albert running through the TV, going back inside the TV. Because Albert is just Al, and remember Bill Cosby, the one who created, so Hint Bill is just William. That's why on Poltergeist, remember on Poltergeist, she goes inside the TV, the Carol Ann actress goes inside the TV, you know, the Carol. I'm going to get into the Ann later on.